Hello and welcome to Pro Tour Columbus. I'm Randy Bueller. I'm here with Mike Flores, and we're getting ready to bring you quarterfinal coverage of the first Pro Tour of the 2005 season. On your screen, you see Olivier Ruel on the left, Masashi Oiso on the right. That's the match we're going to start out on. Clearly the two most experienced players in this top eight. They've got 5 previous top eights between them. There's only 1 previous top eight on the rest of the field. What are you looking for in this matchup, Mike?
Well, there are 2 things that we should consider about Ruel's deck.
All right.
One of them is it's a fast beatdown deck. He's got Chrome Mox. He can come out swinging.
So what's he playing, basically a Goblin
He's
deck?
playing a Goblin deck with black.
Okay.
Now, that's what I was going to point out. Now, besides being a fast beatdown deck, Ruel can go for a combination kill himself. He can generate a critical mass of Goblins and then cast Living Death to set up Goblin Sharpshooter, multiple combination of activations with Kirk Prospector.
Sure.
To generate a huge amount of mana, go off with cards like Siege Gang Commander for a tremendous amount of damage in a single turn.
So what's Masashi Oiso got up his sleeve?
Oiso is playing a Mind's Desire deck.
Okay.
And this deck seeks to cast a lot of spells in a single turn, play Mind's Desire, and then cast more and more spells, setting up a huge Brain Freeze or Tendrils of Agony with Storm.
And he's also got the splash of black, right?
Yeah, he's got Nightscape Familiar in his deck, which I think blocking might come into play. But more important is that after sideboarding, he's got Psychotog, where this is a very powerful threat we've seen in other successful decks.
Absolutely.
Many formats.
Yeah, Psychotog was, what, 4th most played deck this weekend or so? It's a good deck. It didn't quite make the top 8 in its pure control form, but I really like the way Oiso can play his deck either way.
I agree. When I saw this deck list, the fact that he had Psychotog was I'm sure there are players who were prepared for a combination deck after sideboarding and looked at Dr. Teeth.
All of a sudden, what? I know Nicholas Lutz lost the match in the Swiss because he just wasn't prepared for Psychotog after sideboarding.
The other thing we have to look at about Ruel's deck is that he's got the Burning Wish main deck. He can play for powerful disruption cards out of his board. The most powerful probably being Cranial Extraction in Game 1. Cranial Extraction from Mind's Desire in Game 1 is not going to be game over for Oiso.
It's close.
It's close, but Oiso can generate multiple Sapphire Medallions.
And so like Cunning Wish out, Brain Freeze.
He has to chain Cunning Wishes against each other until he has enough critical mass to Brain Freeze.
All right, well, the players have drawn their opening hand. Ruel, always a character. He should be a fun one to watch, even if this... Does he give it anything away there? Do you have any idea he would make that face no matter what he drew?
I think that he's playing deliberately to disrupt Oiso's ability to read him.
Okay.
There are certain players who are going to give away tells by their body language.
And there's Oiso. Pretty calm. What do you think of him? Does he give away much information?
I haven't watched Oiso play many times, but clearly he has a lot of experience, more even than Ruel in top 8 competition. Where I think that
the fact that 4th top 8 from Masashi Oiso.
The fact that he looks calm is because he's been here before, and I think he's playing to win this top 8.
How good is Masashi Oiso?
I've heard he's fantastic. He's going to have a very methodical game in this matchup. His deck is difficult to play, and the fact that he took it to this point means that he's been playing very well on the weekend.
Ruel has decided to take a mulligan, by the way, so he'll be going down to 6 cards. Did not like the opening draw.
Who won the flip?
We'll find out. We have our man on the floor, Jonathan Becker. We'll be bringing you updates from him periodically, and see if we can get him to wander over and find out who's going first.
Because who won the flip is going to be very important.
Well, Oiso won the flip.
So the mulligan hasn't hurt Ruel that much then.
Going second?
Yeah.
Going second hurts him.
Going second hurts him, but the mulligan hurts him a lot less going second.
I guess I'll buy that. Yeah, Masashi Oiso, he was Rookie of the Year 2 seasons ago. This is only like his 3rd season, so he's played, what, 1,000 Pro Tours?
And he's got 4
He's
top 8s.
He's got 4 top 8s.
That's talking better than John Finkel.
That is a Finkel-like pace. Finkel had, what, 10 over...
Finkel's first Pro Tour was in 96.
First top 8 was 97.
Chicago was yours, Chicago 97. But then Finkel picked up pretty quickly, I guess.
But, yeah, Masashi Oiso, he hasn't actually won one, so people maybe aren't giving him enough credit, but people are starting to talk about him as quite possibly one of the very best players on tour. Forget about the best Japanese player, which used to be a category people would talk about, but just straight up best players on tour.
Was it Tokyo where the Japanese players finally broke into a top 8?
Right.
And they haven't looked back.
No, they really haven't. And for the last year, I mean, they're clearly outperforming the Americans, for example. The Europeans, especially maybe the French, up the Japanese. That seems to be where the best Magic's getting played.
One of the things that we spoke about, and Oiso's clearly playing constructed deck this time around, is that when the top 8 was declared last night, look for the Japanese players, they were playing extended. The American players were playing Champions of Kamigawa draft.
Sure.
And that's going to tell you who's taking the constructed Magic more seriously.
Absolutely. Well, the players are off. Olivier Ruel kept a 6-card hand. Oiso led with an island. Her Prospector came down for Olivier Ruel, and Brainstorm from Oiso, so he's setting up a turn 2.
Skirt Prospector is not the best opening play that Ruel has got, but it's, I think, a scripted, pretty decent opening
It's up
play.
there. I mean, if he can generate mana, he can get to that Burning Wish for Cranial Extraction a lot
We could hit a
faster.
3rd-turn Cranial Extraction with this draw, I think,
Yeah.
which is going to be very respectable against Oiso.
So, on the back tables, by the way, Gadiel Slifer has already exhumed out a Chroma.
It sounds like my predictions might be wrong on this matchup.
It's actually tight, though, because Gadiel's down to 6.
What did I tell you about the burn?
Lava Mancer, Seal Fire, it's going to be close.
Jonathan, what you're saying is Nakamura draws anything.
Oh, my goodness. Shuhei Nakamura just beat a Chroma with his Red Deck Wins deck.
Randy, what did I tell
Oh,
you
my
about the
goodness.
red deck in this matchup?
Wow.
I think Nakamura is going to win this one in 4. I'm telling you, this guy played beautiful burn magic all weekend.
Wow. All right, Shuhei Nakamura hangs up the first win of this Pro Tour Top 8. Nakamura 1, Slifer 0. And meanwhile, Masashi Oiso has finished resolving his Brainstorm, dropped a Chrome Box and an Island.
Chromox is very good.
Oh, that must have been main phase Brainstorm. Another update on the back table.
We
Nicholas
talked about
West has out, what was it? Isochron Scepter
with Mana Leak
with Mana Leak on it.
and Meddling Mage
Also, Meddling Mage on
Force.
Taskmaster.
We spoke about Task Force being the target for Meddling Mage. It's got 3 toughness.
Riichi Arita is missing land drops. He's just got an Encore. Looks like the control deck may take the early lead on the back table. Start Prospector into the red zone for Olivier Ruel.
The first of 19, Olivier is thinking. Unlike Nakamura's deck, Olivier doesn't have as much reach. If he's going to burn out Oiso, it's going to be a spectacular turn. It's not going to be incremental.
Yeah, it's going to be like Siege Gang Commander, stack all my guys, deal 8.
living death.
Yeah, sure.
Olivier's reaching for his library, it looks like. Is this a Bloodstained Mire?
Yep. Land number 2.
And he went for Mountain.
What does he want to do here? What's his game plan?
He's going for Mountain. I'm thinking he's going to go for a Burning Wish and has a Black Source in his hand. And he's going to go for the 3rd-turn Cranial Extraction. That's what I'd be praying for if I were him.
Or
Is that a
Goblin
pile
Pile
driver? Well, if he gets a Goblin War Chief set up, he's swinging for a ton of damage.
So Oiso had imprinted Tendrils of Agony on his Chrome Mox, uses it to Vampire Tutor. How many kill cards does Oiso have?
He's got a Tendrils of Agony in his main deck, and he's got a Brain Freeze in his sideboard.
That he can wish for?
Yes.
Fair enough.
Imprinting the kill card in this matchup is pretty
Fine.
irrelevant.
Yeah, he can just go get...
Brain Freeze.
When he goes off, he's got the ability to wish up his Brain Freeze. So.
One thing to keep in mind, though, Brain Freeze is not a locked kill in this matchup because it's quite possible Ruel will be able to kill Oiso on his upkeep prior to having to draw a card.
Yeah, sometimes just being able to untap it like a Siege Gang.
I take it back. Oiso's got Stroke of Venus in his sideboard as well. So he has another kill card.
Oh, no land, just a Sapphire Medallion. It didn't look like a great turn for Oiso. I wonder what he tutored for. The Medallion, maybe? I mean, it didn't come down on turn 2, so yeah, it would have to be the Medallion, right?
He might have a Snap in his hand. Imagine that Ruel taps out for Goblin War Chief thinking that he's going to take a huge turn,
Yeah,
and ends up taking a lot less damage
Sure.
if Oiso's got a Snap.
Those snaps were really good over the course of the week. It was interesting. Oiso randomly has snaps in his deck because his plan A is Snap Sod of Fairies. It counts as a spell. It generates mana. If you have a Sapphire Medallion in play, you get to untap 2 land, but it only costs him 1 island. So
I'm thinking Slifer does not ever want to be facing off against Oiso.
no, I think right, exactly. Oiso would get these matchups against Reanimator, which was the most popular deck in the field on day 2, and then all of a sudden, Snap out of nowhere puts the giant monster back in the Reanimator deck's hand. It seems really horrible matchup for
amount
Reanimator
of work
players.
that the Reanimator decks have to go through just to get the fatty in the graveyard.
Yeah.
I mean, they're Cabal therapying themselves, playing such creatures as Pit Imp, Putrid Imp, just to discard a creature and then Snap not only returns the creature to their hand, but now the blue deck has 2 untapped mana.
Yeah,
this is crazy. It's terrible for a deck like this.
All right, so Ruel just served with the Prospector and the Pile Driver. He's got Oyster down to 13.
And there is a Rishodon port in play.
That's cute. Oyster does look a little...
With Oiso missing that land drop, that Rishodon port could be...
Might actually not be too slow. On the back table, by the way, Ryuichi Arita scooped him up, so Nick West hangs up his first win on the board, 1-0 West. Pierre Canali and Jeffrey Stehrone still in Game 1, and we're still in Game 1 here as well.
It sounds like my predictions are holding true.
Goblin Matron from Olivier Ruel. That is the beatdown.
He could go for a very exciting turn next turn with this Goblin Matron. What do you think he's going for? It depends what he's holding.
Yeah, sure.
One thing you have to keep in mind is that with Skirk Prospector in play, that Goblin Matron is not only a tutor, but it is a little baby Dark Ritual.
Yeah,
the red deck is playing very black.
Remove this mechanic to black.
I know.
How it works now.
You took all the mechanics away from my favorite color and gave
Black
them
had too much stuff.
to Dave's favorite color.
Black had too much stuff. Red did not have enough stuff.
Red Burn.
It has Burn, and we took away, it's not supposed to get Jackal-Puff anymore.
Burn is enough.
One thing.
Ruel, very concentrated look on his face here.
Yeah, where's the goofy Olivier Ruel?
I think he's doing that. I would love to know what is in Ruel's hand right now.
Interesting, before the top 8 started, Olivier Ruel was booster drafting champion.
And you were right, Randy. It looks like Goblin War Chief.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think he did not play one match of playtesting overnight. He made the top 8, and he was just like, I'm going to relax and then draft some. He's calm, probably get a decent night's sleep. Didn't need to play test. He knows how to play his deck. He understands the matchup. He'll just do his thing and see how it works out.
Ruel is arguably the most experienced player in the top 8, if only the second most experienced player in terms of number of top 8.
Yeah, he's been around longer than I so.
I don't think that Ruel's particularly nervous here. This matchup is gonna rest on the strength of the draws and the strength of the skill of the players.
Yeah.
It's not one of these matchups where it's very intricate on both sides. Ruel has a fast A game, and the fact that he can go for Cranial Extraction or just play Cabal Therapy quickly, he has many, many weapons.
All right. Gadiel Slifer, by the way, double mulligan in Game 2, down to 5 cards. That sounds bad, but to be fair, the Reanimator deck is the kind of deck you like to mulligan aggressively with.
You have to.
Oh, never mind. Jackal-Puff Wasteland and Gadiel scoops him up. Nakamura 2-0. All of a sudden. What time is it? It's like 9:15, and Shuhei Nakamura is already up 2-0, trying to make Mike Flores look like a predictive genius. Everyone had Slifer winning this match, including the Japanese players. Everyone had Slifer winning.
I watched Nakamura play yesterday.
All right.
He played against giant monsters round after round. I watched him play against Gabe Walls. Gabe played a first-turn Crusade, followed up with Absolute Law. Every creature that he played was bigger than every creature in Nakamura's deck.
Yep.
Gabe got Curse Scroll out. Nakamura effortlessly killed him. Effortlessly.
All right. Sasashi Oiso imprints a looks like a Mind's Desire on another Chrome Mox, so. We'll try and get you some coverage of Gadiel Slifer and Shuhei Nakamura before they finish up, but we're going to watch this game, and if Nakamura sweeps it, they'll be done before we get the camera back.
One thing we have to point out about the board position of Island Mox is that even with Sapphire Medallion in play, Oisu can't go for a turnabout plan as well. The reason is because his mana sources are not lands.
Oh, wow. So, Cabal Therapy, he sees a Snap, and is that a Cunning Wish? I think that's Cunning Wish.
What card did Olivier name?
We told Becker to watch the back table, so we sent our spotter to get back table information.
Move faster, spotter.
All right, Ruel smashes into the red zone. It's got to be... Ruel smashes into the red zone with Pile Driver, Matron, and Stark Prospector. Ruel had named Intuition with that therapy.
Is that a 7-point bash?
2, 4, 6, 7, 8, it's 9, right?
9?
Gadiel Slifer
Looks
shifts
like
his opening hand, no
like
land.
I'm going to be wrong because I called Nakamura in 4, not 3. Everyone said not only was Nakamura not going to win, but I called it in 4.
Yeah. Yeah, that is 9 points in the red zone. What is, Oiso's contemplating a snap here? Do you snap Pile Driver?
You can't. It's protection from blue.
Oh, my goodness. I remember that now. That's funny.
What was going through your head when you gave that creature protection from blue?
Psychotog. Seriously. We're like, Psychotog's really, really good.
Which bad guy do we help more?
This is the second noblest deck, he said.
No, I did not. I said Nakamura's deck was. This is a dirty combo deck. It attacks for 1 million and then deals you the indignity of like 1,000 points with Siege Gang Commander and of Goblin Sharpshooter.
Well, I'm doing that. So he snaps Prospector. Is that in the middle of the attack phase?
Looks like it is. I assume the trigger on Goblin Putter was already hit, though.
Yeah, it was weird. That's what they're checking. It doesn't make... Did he forget the Pile Driver was pro blue?
Oh, he's in a lot of trouble right now. He's got just a Cunning Wish left.
Yeah, and Ruel's got Therapy in his graveyard, so he can just nail the Cunning Wish, which...
Well, he can't really nail the Cunning Wish. But if Oiso responds by using the Cunning Wish, then he
can nail it. He has Therapy. What is Oiso do? If he does nothing, you name Wish. If he does something, you just name that card. Yeah, Therapy beats Cunning Wish. Wish. It's a mid-attack phase Wish. So meanwhile, there's a really clever play on a back table. I'm going to throw it down to John Becker. John, what's going on down there? What was the cool play?
Oh, we have a very cool play here by Canali. It's a really high-level play. I think he was his opponent was trying to circular logic one of his spells and remove circular logic from the Madness stack. Canali had an Native Route with 2 counters on it, so he waited until they had been removed from the game with the Madness stack, and then he Native Route out Meddling Mage, calling circular logic.
Oh, wow.
To be able to be called Madness.
Phenomenal play.
That's very good.
Not only essentially countering circular logic, but then also shutting down a really important spell.
And putting a 2/2 beater in play that wasn't there a minute ago.
Right, so the circular logic is in the Madness deck. He hasn't been played yet, Meddling Mage comes into play. You can't play circular logic.
Plus he also, now he's fairly fearlessly cranking up his Overrun Ravager up to a 5/5 without fear of any sort of any counter spell.
All right, so Pierre, it's game 1 down there still?
I'd say it's still game 1, yeah.
All right, Pierre Canali.
The board's good for Pierre.
Interesting. Thanks, John.
Sure. Wow.
What just happened? Burning Wish from Meltdown.
It looks like...
5x2 Chrome boxes.
It looks like all my predictions are going in the correct direction, Randy.
Yeah, Oiso scoops them up. Wow. Masashi Oiso got nothing. Olivier Ruel just came out, did a little beatdown, blew up a couple Chrome boxes, and that's all it took. We'll try to get a live check-in on Table D. Let's see if we can get Gadiel Slifer on camera against Shuhei Nakamura. They're in Game 3. I think our cameras will be able to get back there while we watch. Meanwhile, Oiso and Ruel will sideboard and shuffle up, and we'll come back for more coverage of this later. But,
Jonathan, can you give us an update on the status of this game that we're coming into?
Yeah, Slifer and Nakamura. What's up?
Sure. In Game 3, both players mulliganed to 6. Turnwood.
Hold on. Let me see if we can get your mic.
I'm sorry. Nakamura mulliganed to 5. And currently there's 2 land on either side of the board, 1's a port, but the big advantage Gadiel seems to have here, she has a Rorik's Bladewing active on the board.
Oh, Slicer's got active. So they went down to 6 and 5 cards, is what you're telling me.
So it is going to go to 4.
Oh, maybe.
I guess he beat a Chroma with these in the first game, so.
That's not the D that I was given. The one on the right.
Ah. Even if he has an Ensnaring Bridge, the thing that we all spoke about is that Ensnaring Bridge loses in a fight with Echoing Truth and giant monsters on the other side of the table. So I just set up a kill and then play Echoing Truth.
That is Gadiel Slifer on the left of your screen, Shuhei Nakamura on the right. Gary Wise looking on with the laptop.
What is Slifer's life?
So Slifer's got Rorik Bladewing in play. Nakamura, oh, there you go.
Four.
Fair enough. Gadiel Slifer with a trick Warwick, and Nakamura had nothing that time, so it is going to game 4.
When I look silly if Slifer comes back 3-0. Slifer doesn't look happy.
All right, let's hang out here for a couple minutes and see if we can get a quick game 4 on camera. Slifer's leaning up a little more now. He got one win under his belt. I think you got to feel a little better to get the first one, right?
You can't feel good at all down 2 in your first top 8.
Think you're losing with turn to a chroma?
You can't ask for a much better draw in this matchup.
Against red, too.
Well, John, do you know if he took a lot of life loss when he made that a chroma or if it was free?
He exhumed it, right?
I don't know.
He exhumed it? He exhumed it.
Oh, wow.
Still lost.
That's really demoralizing. Newsflash from 1997, ball lightning is still good.
So, what should we look for in this game, Mike?
Ensnaring Bridge is going to be one of the key defensive cards on Nakamura's end.
Okay.
Offensively, the things that we have to think about are that Slifer really deals a lot of damage to himself. He's got pain lands up the wazoo.
Okay.
Vampire Tutor, which is arguably his most important card, it costs him 2 every time he plays it.
Mm-hmm.
And Nakamura, every one of those points of damage is an increment that Nakamura has in his mind at all times.
So Nakamura will get to play first in this game. He lost game 3, so. All right.
It looked
on the back table. Good old-fashioned blue-white control. Swept the board with Rathagod. Dropped the scepter on Orange Chant. So it's not the scepter that Weissman had, but it feels kind of the same.
3 words. Go good guys.
I agree with you. I am rooting for Nicholas West. I love the blue-white control deck. That's my kind of magic. It's fun.
Nothing against the light deck, but you gotta love
for control.
You gotta love the
right?
good guys. Did Slifer just mulligan?
I believe so. Yeah, looks like it.
And with Nakamura going first, I think he's going to prefer to have an aggressive start rather than sit back on the Ensnaring Bridge.
So I'd like to ask the spectators that are up on the catwalk watching these top 8 matches to turn down your headsets a little bit. We want to make sure that the players don't get any information out of the bleed from your headset. So if you could turn those down just a notch, that'd be great.
Did he break for a mountain there?
Yes.
That is going to put Nakamura to 19, and he's looking for a Jackal Pup here, I think. What will he play?
Mog Fanatic. Not quite as big a clock, but
you told me on Thursday that you thought Mog Fanatic was better than Jackal Pup.
Overall, yeah, because of the fact that it can be used as a removal spell.
Sure.
Jackal Pup's the more aggressive card. I mean, if you want to beat down, Jackal Pup is faster, but Jackal Pup's one-dimensional. I think Mog Fanatic's extra utility, the fact that it can blow up a creature, still get in, it's still a beatdown card. It still comes out on the first turn, but all in all, I think Mog Fanatic's a stronger card. I think Jackal Pup is better in this context of turn 1 when you're trying to race. Still on game 1, by the way, Pierre Canali versus Jeffrey Stehrone.
But with Canali making plays off that Aether Vial, like the one that Jonathan told us about, it's going to go slow. These are very methodical plays, even though the decks are quick.
Keeping an eye on the boards. Member Click is complaining there's no Tog in the top 8. What a bummer.
Tell member Click that there is Tog in the top 8, and Oiso is going to kill someone with it.
Oh, he says I think Oiso has it. He's rooting for Oiso because of the Tog.
No one should root for Tog. The following cards should not be rooted for. Tog, Mind's Desire, Turnabout.
How is Jackal Pup not on your list?
I hate Jackal Puff,
All right.
but I hate it less than the combo decks.
All right. Click also asks, what's up with the deck list? The truth of the matter is that we had a bit of a computer glitch yesterday, so we were unable to get all the deck lists up already. They're coming. I think they're going to try to get at least some of the deck lists up today, but we will definitely have every deck from the entire event up on the web sometime in the next day or two.
Click, I personally typed a large number of those deck lists over the course of the weekend, so I want to see them up as much as you do.
Yeah, I think it sounded like they'll be able to get at least some of them up today, but the rest will definitely be up soon.
Let's see here. Is that Swamp Island for Slifer? And the board for Nakamura is Mountain, Mog Fanatic, Grim Lava Master, Seal of Fire. And this Brainstorm or Careful Study? Main phase? Main phase, Brainstorm.
Slifer's digging.
That is not the play he wants.
No. Careful Study maybe would have been fun, but if he's got a tutor, he can shuffle the junk away, I guess.
But does he have any way to dump a Chroma?
Yeah, we'll see.
This might be a race.
We'll see. We tend not to give away information about the hands. We want to make sure nothing gets to the players. So. Okay. Nakamura staring over, wondering, is that Brainstorm good? That seems good for me, that all he's got is Brainstorm. And Future Dimp came down for Gadiel Slifer. So
Future Dimp?
He's got Future Dimp on the board.
Surprisingly effective in this situation.
Sure, he gets
just block and pay Mog Fanatic.
Yeah, it blocks, and it's got the ability to discard any fatties that he happens to have drawn. So Nakamura goes ahead and sacrifices Mog Fanatic, points at the Future Dimp, and Slifer does indeed discard and a Chroma. So a Chroma in the yard, and there's Ensnaring Bridge.
The elegance of the play of sacrificing Mog Fanatic prior to attacking is huge. So what that tells you is Nakamura is playing against the Exhume.
Yeah. And Exhume... Was that double Curse Scroll from
Slifer is at a ton of life, but
with Ensnaring Bridge.
But he is on a definite clock against double Curse Scroll and active Grim Lava Master.
Yeah, this game looks great for Nakamura, right?
He's casting Vampiric here, so...
But Nakamura's on 18. It's not like Echoing Truth gets rid of Ensnaring Bridge, right? It just bounces it. It just comes back down again.
He's got a decent amount of time. He might be sandbagging for a huge 18-point swing turn.
Well, he's got to, right? That's his only play.
Yeah,
unless he gets Lava Mantra for 2 here.
No, that's actually not true. He can set up a Cabal Therapy,
right?
Where he goes
Cabal Therapy.
Where he goes and pick up the Ensnaring Bridge and then Cabal Therapy. Yeah.
So he needs like a Future Dimp or something worth sacking.
Oh, he could be holding a Cabal Therapy.
Could be. Oh, so if he tutors up Therapy,
yeah.
He's got to go Echoing Truth, Cabal Therapy. Yeah, that's the play.
Even in that case, the game is not over, though. I mean,
he can draw the board. And he can draw more Ensnaring Bridges. So Gadiel Slifer got a Chroma out on turn 3, but he has not gotten to attack with it even a single time because Nakamura played turn 3 Ensnaring Bridge. Slifer's got Echoing Truth. He can try to bounce the Ensnaring Bridge, but it's going to take him 2-3 attack phases to win the game, so just Echoing Truth isn't enough yet. So here's the Echoing Truth. That'll bounce the bridge. Now, he's got to have Cabal Therapy or that play makes no sense.
Interesting play on the part of Nakamura. Notice how he dumped
his Cabal Therapy.
His entire
2 bridges.
Oh, wow.
2 bridges down. A Chroma comes over. We race on.
Okay.
Triple Curse Scroll from Nakamura. He doesn't have enough time or mana.
A couple things to keep in mind. The fact that he just hit him for 2 bridges is going to cost Slifer at least 4 life.
Because of Grim Lava Master.
Now, Nakamura's got, it looks like, 3 turns of beatdown before he's dead. And let's count the damage he's got. There's minimum... it's hard to say how much burn he's got access to right now.
Yeah.
Depends on if he draws land.
The Seal means Slifer's effectively at 7. The Fanatics put him at 5. Curse Scroll,
wow.
Land is right there.
It's not just a land. It's a sack land.
And it fuels the Grim Lava Mancer.
That is about the worst thing that Slifer could have seen.
Fetch land. Not only do I get mana, but I get a card in my graveyard.
I mean, Gadiel's blocking here, and he's still taking 2.
Yeah, Nakamura serves for the Fanatics. The Chroma blocks 1. The other one He's at 7 from the curse scroll. The Fanatic drops him to 6. The attack drops him to 5.
This is a
ball game, right?
disaster.
Fanatic stacks down to 4, Field to 2, and Lava Mancer for the win. It's over, right?
This is a disaster for Gadio.
Wow, that top deck, that's the game, set, and match, ladies and gentlemen. Shuhei Nakamura, 3 games to 1. And Snaring Bridge brought him a couple turns, and that's all he needed to burn out Gadio Swiper.
Who called the match in 4? Not just the match, but the match in 4.
Shuhei Nakamura, 3-1, through to the semifinals with his red deck Limbs deck. Nice call, Mike.
Nakamura in 4.
All right, we're going to go back and check in on the original match. Olivier Ruel's got a couple goblins in play. Masashi Oiso is trying to slow him down and set up, and whew, that was...
Coming into the Ruel matchup, this is something that we can say both about the Ruel matchup and about Nakamura's deck,
right?
Is that people look at these red D-Town decks and they think to themselves, oh, this is a red D-Town deck.
Right,
it's easy to play. I would argue these are the hardest decks to play. The reason is because not only are they playing these decks with, in many cases, less powerful cards in the matchup, but they have to play precise beatdown math. Sure. They are managing not only their own resources, but the opponent's resources, which is something that many of the other decks don't have to worry about.
Right. Speaking of beatdown math, Olivier Ruel trying to beat down. He's got Oiso down to 11. He's got a War Chief and a Prospector. He's staring across the board at a Medallion and a Cloud of Fairies. So these should be the crucial turns. Ooh, Duress should be pretty good. Sulfur Springs for Duress, so... So there's been an interesting development down there in the match between Pierre Canali and Jeffrey Stehrone. Jonathan Becker was telling us earlier about a really cool play that Canali made, but what happened after that, John? What's going on down there? Okay. Okay. So with the Roar of the Worm token, he just didn't see it, or what am I missing?
I'm not sure exactly what.
Okay, so he swings with everybody, but Roar eats somebody.
He may have thought that having a 7-power attack on the board with his opponent not having access to circular logic was a good plan. It looked that way, except Stehrone just didn't really draw very much land. He just kept drawing chump blockers, kept throwing down creatures and blocking the 7 while he was swinging back, and there just weren't enough blockers, so he just kept throwing down creatures, and he just eventually overwhelmed it.
All right, so Jeffrey Stehrone wins game 1. That's what you're telling us?
Yeah, despite the fantastic middling mage play, that would look like to be a fairly dominating board position. Stehrone just kept whittling away and kept throwing sacrificial creatures in front of the giant frog mite.
All right.
And just could never get any damage to it. There was no nexus to be found to move tokens on before he had to throw it onto the frog mite. And I didn't see it I don't think he saw it the whole game, so he couldn't do any damage that way either. So
Roll 1 for the blue-green madness deck.
Reduced the beating down with a 7/7 frog mite, which sounds like a good thing, but in this case wasn't quite enough.
All right, Jeffrey Stehrone up 1-0.
I still like the Affinity deck.
We'll see. Meanwhile, a couple turns have gone by on camera. Olivier Ruel's Duress was answered by an intuition for accumulated knowledge.
But then accumulated knowledge.
Oiso cast his accumulated knowledge for 3, drew 3 cards, but the only good one was the 4th AK. Duress, of course, took the 4th AK, and Oiso's left in the hand. It did not seem to have a lot of action, so things looking pretty reasonable for Olivier Ruel here. Goblin Ringleader came down, flipped over a couple cards. I didn't see exactly what he got. I think he got at least 1 goblin, so he's attacking, and Oiso's hand, not very good. I think intuition for AK's response to Duress made sense. He was hoping to draw more than 1 good card, but lost the AK that he drew.
Cloud of Fairies' stock has gone down a lot. Both of those creatures have 2 tough.
Yeah, there used to be a Sir Prospector on board, but it gave its life up for the Ringleader. Did it?
I mean, Ringleader only costs 3 with the War Chief in play.
But he Duress. He went Duress.
He went Duress. My bad. If there's one thing that beatdown players don't like to do, it's running their 1 toughest creatures into Cloud of Fairies. That's really demoralizing. Mike Dene used to love the Cloud of Fairies. He would just run them out there against beatdown decks.
I think Wall of Blossoms is a little better in that scenario. Another Mike Dene card.
Mike Dene claimed that Wall of Blossoms was the best control card to come out of Stronghold.
Yeah.
Does history prove that out?
That had
Spike Feeder.
Spike Feeder pretty good.
No, Spike Weaver is weather. I'm
Forbidden
sorry,
in
it's
that set,
not weatherlight.
Forbidden's in that set too, right? Oh, that's Exodus. Which also had Oath.
And the Nightscape Familiar. So the blocking that we spoke about pre-game looks like it's going to take effect. What goblins?
Yeah, but Oiso can't. I mean, he can block for a turn or two, but
He has no choice here.
obviously that's the plan. It's plan C. That's all I'm saying.
What goblins did Ringleader turn over, do we know?
I didn't see. It went by too fast.
Because it's the wrong goblins.
7? A lot of people thought this matchup would go to 5, but
I was one of those people.
Ruel looks poised to take a 2-0 lead. Oh, there's Pile Driver. It's a hasty Pile Driver because of the War Chief. There's Mog Fanatic.
That is a disaster.
Yeah,
boy,
that's giant. He gets to attack with everybody, pumps the Pile Driver. He can sack the Fanatic if he wants. That helps.
I think he uses the Mog Fanatic to hit the Nightscape Familiar.
Right.
And I guess it
turn it out. Yep.
I mean, the play would have been to hit the Nightscape Familiar with the Mog Fanatic and bring attack
After triggering the Pile Driver.
because the Cloud Players would not be able to block the Pile Driver.
Oh, yeah.
Pile
That
Driver
would
would
have
kill
been a
him.
play. So if you sack Fanatic to kill Nightscape Familiar here while it can't be regenerated,
I think so.
deprive him of his other staff armor down?
Ruel's seen Eliso's hand. I don't think that he's worried about losing right now.
Interesting. Yeah, I agree with Ruel's play. He does sacrifice Fanatic to get rid of Nightscape Familiar. That Familiar is an annoying blocker. It can block Pile Driver, and here you can actually kill it and deprive Oiso scoops him up. So 2-0 for Olivier Ruel. There you go. Olivier Ruel, 2 games. Musashi Oiso, 0. Let's see if we can go back to Table C and get the Madness versus the City. Oh, they're still sideboarding. Where should we go, Becker? Can we get... All right,
Don't cut Oiso out yet.
I'm not counting him out. We'll come back. While they're sideboarding, we're going to go to the back table, and Nicholas West has a 2-0 lead on Ryuichi Arita. There you see Nicholas West on the right of your screen, Ryuichi Arita on the left. Arita's playing a life combo deck, and West is on with blue-white control. I see a bunch of permanents in play. I don't know what they are, but blue-white control with that many permanents in play has got to be winning, right? 2 meddling mages on board and a meddling mage on the stack.
Oh, wow.
Daru Spiritualist and Task Force, both of
That is not the face of a happy play.
No, Ryuichi Arita does get on camera, but he's not a happy man.
Academy
Rector.
And what card is Academy Rector hating out?
What's in the board?
It's probably for Test of Endurance, right?
Oh, Test of Endurance? Yeah, Test of Endurance. All right, there's Nick West playing in his first Pro Tour ever. He built this deck for the last round of extended QTs last December, like 11 months ago. Got destroyed by Tinker, but then when he qualified via Block Constructed, dusted off his old deck, and turned out he did a bunch of playtesting. He enjoyed this deck, he liked it, and it was good after the recent banning. So.
That's a great tradition of Pro Tour champions, though, where they pick a deck they love and play it in whatever format that they can. Dave Price, Mike Long, John Finkel.
And this extended is just the kind of format where there's a bunch of viable decks, so play the one that you know well. Play the one you understand how to play.
Something that we can't underrate here is how many options Nick West has. His deck is arguably the most flexible in the top 8. He's got the turn 1 kill draw, but he can disrupt anyone's draw with the meddling mage.
Uh-oh. Is that infinite life right there? Yeah, so he's got the Nomad Encore. He targets... Well, did he have anybody to get infinite toughness? Why is that infinite life? Oh, no, he just had 2. He had 2 Encores. He's just like he had to chump block to gain 2 life, right? Yeah. He had 2 different redirectors, but nobody to...
well,
there you go.
Does that match?
Yeah, that is the match. Isocron Scepter for Orange Chan, and that's it. Ryuichi Arita has gone down. Nicholas West with the sweep. 3-0.
2 of my predictions have come true. Who did you pick in this matchup,
through. I had Nick West. I had Nick West in that match. We'll go back and get you some more action. Nick West is through to the semis. Where's our bracket? Who does Nick West will be taking on? Well, we know that whole semifinal. We'll be taking on Shuhei Nakamura.
The funny thing is that It looks also that Olivier is in commanding position, but it doesn't matter for my predictions because I picked Canali to win the Pro Tour. So if he doesn't come through against the Blue-Green Madness deck, doesn't matter how many of my quarterfinal matches this guy got right.
Nakamura 3-1, West 3-0. We got one half of the bracket. It'll be blue-white control against red deck wins. Welcome to 1997 again.
In 1997, no one was ready for red deck wins. As I recall, the Lava Hound came out.
All right, well, we've got one half of the bracket set for you, and momentarily we'll be ready to bring you coverage of the other side and find out how the other semifinal plays out. And we're ready to look in on the match between Olivier Ruel and Masashi Oiso. Ruel's got a 2-0 lead. He just has to win one of the next 3 games, and then he's through to the semifinals where either Pierre Canali or Geoffrey Stehrone will be waiting for him. They're still shuffling up for game 2. Stehrone's got the 1-0 lead. We'll get you coverage of that match right after this.
I love this chunky thing that Olivier does at the end of the shuffling.
The chunk.
All right. That's got to be so annoying for the opponent. I love that. They got to be happy about Nakamura's finish, though.
The Japanese players, yeah. Nakamura through, but Arita down. So 3 Japanese players in the top 8. We'll see if...
Look at that smiley face that Ruel is.
Yeah, he always takes a smiley face out of his cards.
He's very happy about the first 2 games.
He's just a good guy. He's just fun to hang around. He's not mocking his opponent. He's just happy.
If I had won the first 2 games of the Pro Tour top 8, I also would be happy.
He made that smiley face before he had a 2-0 lead, to be fair. He did that all 3 games.
He's reorienting the eyes of the smiley face.
He's bored. Oiso is contemplating his hand. Oiso's been here before, and has he made a quarterfinal exit yet? I know he got second to Jorstedt in Yokohama. He lost in the semis with his Tinker deck in New Orleans. What was the...
Nikolai Herzog's Pro Tour was the other one that he...
Right. And where did he finish? Did he lose in the quarters? Thanks for the question. Has he lost in the quarters yet?
I don't recall.
I will look it up on the handy-dandy laptop.
That duress was just disastrous for you. So usually when you cast accumulated knowledge for 3 and draw another accumulated knowledge, you're riding high.
Yeah. Yeah, Oiso got 8th place in San Diego. Herzog's first win. Or second win. So yeah, he has lost in the quarters, he's lost in the semis, he's lost in the finals.
I mean, this guy's a fantastic player, though.
Oh, absolutely.
I think he's looking like he can still come back 3 games.
No, I'm certainly not counting it out. I was just sort of curious.
What's his first? First turn, Chrome Mox and Island. Jonathan, what's the imprint on the Chrome Mox? The Chrome Mox imprints Mind's Desire on turn 1. What kind of signal is that on turn 1, Randy?
What is he going to do for 2 mana?
That's a hard
draw.
Go,
right? I mean, it looks like Mana Leak, but he doesn't run Mana Leak, does he?
I could not guess if I were on Ruel's
side of the table. Does he have Condescend access?
Let me look. I'm looking at Oiso's deck list right now. He has Condescend out of the sideboard. I mean, is first turn accumulated knowledge really worth throwing away Mind's Desire is the question.
Oh, could be. Well, he gets to rest, and he loses one of his 2 accumulated knowledges.
Double accumulated knowledge.
Good read. We almost finished the read. Obviously waits for the duress to resolve, so this AK is for 2. But that's it. His hand is whatever he's drawing. 3 draws off the top is all he's got.
I like Oiso's position in this game better. First turn duress is not the optimal play for Ruel. At seat C, we learned that Canali kept a six-card hand, played Disciple on the first turn and followed up with cranial plating. Jonathan, what is on Stehrone's side of the table? Versus Island, Brandy. Disciple of the Vault, cranial plating versus Island.
Madness deck, not as fast as the Affinity deck.
Aquamoeba. Island, Aquamoeba against Disciple, cranial plating. It's hard to ask who wins that fight because no one really wins that fight.
Meanwhile, Olivier Ruel with the Goblin Pile Driver. Oiso answers with Nightgate Familiar and enough mana to regenerate it.
What are we looking for here? Will Oiso block?
He's not interesting question. I think I would.
No, for regeneration, he's going to take a point for the.
Oh, it's one damage
there's no reason to block.
Yeah.
If Ruel has a Mog Fanatic,
it's
a disaster for Oiso.
Yep.
You just take.
What does Ruel have?
One red floating.
One red floating.
Duress. He's got the Shadow Blood Ridge, right?
Island better.
Yeah. Wild Mongol versus Sombra Hoverguard on the other table. So
Wild Mongol doesn't fight Sombra Hoverguard with cranial plating very well.
No.
One for one.
Ruel is in
Ruel
bad
just burned
position.
for one. He's done nothing.
Bad
Duress,
position.
Pile Driver, Duress, and burn for one.
We mentioned earlier that despite the fact that Duress is a sideboard card, it's the kind of card that Ruel wants to see. It is not a good card on the first turn in this matchup. Ruel wants to come out of the gates very aggressively and use Duress to close the game, not to open up with Duress and not have a clock in play. Let's see here. Oiso's got a Brainstorm. He's breaking Polluted Delta. He's running the Eric Lauer, Andrew Cuneo play of Brainstorm followed by mixing up my library with a Land Searcher. You guys,
a lot of people thought of that.
You guys at CMU pretty much thought of that.
Going with Dawn Glacier, right?
I think
Dawn Glacier Brainstorm was so good. Yeah.
I think that you're giving the rest of the world too much credit, honestly.
All right. So I guess everybody thought of Brainstorm Fetchlands since the Fetchlands came out, but I guess it was because CMU was playing Brainstorm Dawn Glacier back in the day.
I mean, the thing is that everyone also played four demonic consultations in their Necropotence deck, but it was only after Randy Buehler won the Pro Tour that they started doing that.
Fair enough. Yeah, those were fun days.
Who has Masticore?
Jeffrey Stehrone has resolved the Masticore. He's facing down Sombra Hoverguard equipped with cranial plating. Oh, my apologies. Canali did not equip the cranial plating. He spent his mana doing other things, so.
Oh, wow.
Jeffrey Stehrone traded his Aquamoeba for Sombra Hoverguard. Wow.
It looks like my pick for the Pro Tour champion is going to fail.
Yeah, Masticore against cranial plating, Arcbound Worker, Disciple. That does not sound good for the Affinity.
Right now, Canali's thinking, hope he forgets.
Canali did draw a Ravager. That helps. That helps a lot.
Ravager? Sterone's got one
here in the back of our screen. Look at Canali smile in the back corner over Ruel's shoulder. That looks like a man that just top deck Ravager from a lost position.
Masticore's got flying in this case. I don't know. I don't like Canali's position from what Jonathan's been telling me.
All right. Natasha Oiso in the game on camera. Draws a couple cards from a deep analysis. Ruel, come on, flash it back. Take 3. What? Olivia Ruel's done nothing this game.
The Shadow Blood Ridge play. Okay. What could he have been doing?
What's his hand that he kept, I guess? He went down to 6, right?
Wait, does he have a cranial extraction?
Oh, maybe.
He's got a cranial extraction. This is a pretty justifiable sequence, I think.
Nice game familiar into the red zone from Masachi.
Wow.
So that's funny.
This is not the board that Ruel was looking for.
All right. Ruel go land extraction here? What? I don't know why. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't understand why he kept this draw. unless he's got an extraction ready for him. Yeah.
So let's find out why Ruel can't. Chrome Mox coming down.
Okay.
The card being removed from game is... Did he imprint
the extraction? He imprinted cranial extraction so he could play a ringleader.
This ringleader is
A
phenomenal.
fine ringleader.
Wow.
What did he get? Ringleader?
Ringleader, Goblin War Chief,
And ringleader?
Ringleader. And the hasted ringleader is bringing with Pile Driver for significant damage.
1, 2, 6, total of 5 damage? He imprinted cranial extraction rather than cast it.
What does
What do you think of
Oso
that
gotta
play?
be thinking when that play happens?
I don't know. Was it good? You tell me.
I would be panicked if I were the Mind's Desire player, and I'd
Really?
a counterspell right now. Because
Was this play better than casting cranial extraction? Explain to me. Why is it better?
whether or not he has a second cranial extraction, Oiso's got to be panicked right now. He's got to be thinking to himself, why did he just imprint cranial extraction to do a ringleader,
Yeah.
a blind
That's what I'm
leader?
thinking.
I mean, this is
How many
what's
does he
going
run? How many extractions does he even have?
I believe he has 3 in his sideboard. I'm guessing that he
Sure,
only
there's
has
one
2 in
still
his
in the
deck
board,
right
right.
now, yeah.
He probably left one on the board to Burning Wish for and brought the other 2 in.
Notice that the Nightscape Familiar did not re-enter the red zone.
Well, no. I mean, Ruel could just be trying to burn him out, right?
Oh, wow.
I mean, Oiso's draw was not great. What do
He
you do?
decided to take 3 life with deep analysis.
Flashback?
Yeah.
And he's running a little scared, right? You were scared by this play. Ruel could have nothing and just be trying to scare him.
But Double Disciple
It'll be
and
well,
Ravager against Masticore.
Staring over at the other match.
Our colleague, Osip, just came over and said that had Ruel played Cranial Extraction,
Yeah.
then Oiso would have won the game immediately.
Why?
That's why Ruel didn't do it.
What does that mean?
We have no idea what's in their hand. So,
All right. Now it's over. Looking.
Osip is panicked at the booth.
Come here. Yeah, give him a headset. Put the headset on. Yeah, because the Ruel did not. So all he's saying is, I think Osip is
Osip said
disappointed by the play. So why does he not cast Instruction?
So
With his play, Oiso can just untap and win in theory. Ruel did see Oiso's hand a couple turns ago, and it was not very good. So that's. I mean, the beatdown plan isn't crazy, given that he duressed away a couple of cards and didn't see much else 3 turns ago. But
would it be fair to say that Osip is at least puzzled by the play the same way?
Osip was clearly puzzled by the play. Osip, you sounded like you thought it was all right,
I said I would be wondering why he did this play.
and you'd be scared.
I would be terrified.
All right. Osip Lebedovich coming over to the booth from the crowd.
Panicked over from the
Like
crowd.
he doesn't get it. Olivier Ruel.
Just for the folks at home, Jonathan Becker pointed out that Olivier might just be on a gambling plan.
Right. Oh, there's cranial extraction.
No. That looks like
I mean, couple therapy. That's what I meant. There's cabal therapy. So he's going to get another shot at Oiso's hand.
I mean,
I guess if he thinks that Duress, what do you name? All right, the hand is Island, Sex Land. Is that he named Cunning Wish? Is that a mana leaf? I didn't think he had mana leaf. So he whiffed. He named Cunning Wish and whiffed. Here comes another ringleader, right?
Big turn here.
Yeah, here comes the ringleader that he got off the first ringleader. Is that going to get mana leaked? Yes, that gets mana leaked. The other card was a memory lapse. So Oiso was permission. I mean, Ruel's plan actually looks fine given Oiso's hand. Oiso's hand was awful a couple of turns ago. I mean, he might have drawn the nuts in the middle there, but Ruel was like, it was bad. I got no action. I just got to get some pressure on, so I'm going to eschew cranial extraction in exchange for being able to win this game in a couple of turns. And now he can flash back to therapy, so he gets 2 shots at the hand. Oiso does not have a spell in his hand.
This is the kind of action, though, that's really interesting because we talked about Ruel not practicing last night, and I think that he's in a situation where he's like, I know my deck. Yeah, these are the plays that I'm going to make. I am not going to go for the cranial extraction. I'm the beatdown. Well, yeah, who's the beatdown? It's me.
Yeah. Brainstorm off the top for Oiso. That's a pretty good draw. Ruel was not happy to see Brainstorm come off the top.
It's not a disaster, but it's
good. It's about the best card that Oiso could draw. I guess AK for free would have been better, but
I think
it's very similar. He gets access to the same cards. Pretty close on the other table back there. Stehrone and Canali. Stehrone's Masticore couldn't quite clear the board, and Canali was able to build a pretty big Ravager, so an 8/8 Ravager and a Disciple for Canali.
The Disciple is less relevant against the Masticore.
Yeah, Masticore's still over there, so Masticore can ping, and then it can regen, and
2 things to keep in mind.
Stehrone's almost out of life.
Is that typically Masticore's not going to be winning a standoff against Ravager, but in this case, Masticore flies. So,
sure.
So,
still have to block with it, though.
Stehrone can just draw any guy to hold back and bring over for 4. Disciple was just pinged.
Yeah, well, he just needed enough time to get around to it. All right, so Oiso is...
snap.
That's what he brainstormed. Then what did he do?
He just snapped Nightscape Familiar. That cannot be good.
No.
Replay Nightscape Familiar.
Right. Meanwhile, he's counting spells.
It looks like Mind's Desire.
There it is. Brainstorm the Mind's Desire for...
3? 4?
4.
Let's see what he's got.
Brainstorm gave him Mind's Desire for 4.
That decision on the cranial extraction might bite Ruel.
We'll see. Oiso had to top deck, but Ruel gave him the chance to top deck. But if Ruel plays the Mind's... If he extracted the Mind's Desires, there's a lot more turns to top deck. So, Tomok, Medallion, Land, and... Brainstorm.
Wow.
Not quite a fizzle. Not much.
Oiso is not letting go.
Nope. All right, he'll Brainstorm. Oh, Medallion first.
That is 6 spells. He might run an unimprinted Chrome Mox.
Sure. He hasn't decided yet. Might be imprinted, right? Let's see how the turn plays out from here. He's already played a land this turn or no?
Jonathan, can we find out if Oiso's played a land yet?
I mean, he might need the Chrome Mox for blue in order to snap his way. He has played a land, so he's out of mana. Oh, there's an untapped island all the way to the left.
Off camera. Oiso just counted for that graveyard.
He's seeing it's a brain. Yeah, Oiso's deck, for those of you who haven't seen it before, his goal is to play as many spells in a turn as possible and then win with a Storm card, either Tendrils of Agony or Brain Freeze. So he just tries to cast a bunch of spells. Mind's Desire is sort of the fuel. If he casts enough spells, then he can Mind's Desire for a bunch more spells and build up the Storm count really quickly.
How much damage can Ruel bring back the next turn? We know he's got a Goblin War Chief in his hand, right?
Right.
So he can play possibly 2 additional
goblins. Last island. Is that mana enough? 1 island left untapped. Couple medallions and a Nightscape Familiar.
That 1 mana is worth 3 in this case.
4. Familiar medallion.
Double medallion.
So all Oiso did is he top decked Brainstorm, and then managed to play 4 spells just by top decking Brainstorm and then snapping it on Nightscape Familiar. And I forget what the 4th spell was. All we got off The Mind's Desire was a Brainstorm, but
It was a small Mind's Desire, to be fair.
the Mind's Desire before gave him a Brainstorm. Now I think, okay, here comes the Chrome Mox into play.
Will it imprint?
It's spell number 7.
No.
No, he says go. So,
Both
Fizzle.
playing the Chrome Mox there with no...
Better than removing it from the game, right? I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe it has no impact at all.
Right.
Just no, it doesn't hurt anything to play it.
A Mog Fanatic would be devastating here.
You think Familiar Nightscape trumps Pile Driver? Is that how this turn plays out?
If Ruel has a Mog Fanatic, he's gonna put down Goblin War Chief and Mog Fanatic, attack with all 3, use the Mog Fanatic to take the Nightscape Familiar out of blocking position after the trigger.
Sure.
And that's going to be 1, 2, 3, enough to kill Oiso.
What did Ruel play? Off camera.
But another Chrome Mox, it looks like.
Oh, infecting Skirt Prospector. Down comes War Chief.
And it is
And the Ringleader.
Ringleader.
For Prospector and Ringleader. For War Chief.
Prospector and War Chief.
So, smashy into the red zone.
Devastating turn.
That's 2, 4, 5 on the Pile Driver and 4 on the other. So he's got to chump block the Pile Driver.
Block the Pile Driver.
Or, he can snap War Chief. Pre-attack phase?
Did he let them into the red zone?
Well, I mean, there might just be miscommunication, right? Yeah, I think Ruel just cashed him.
I see. Okay.
That's not giving Oiso a chance to respond.
Oiso could have Mana Leak in his hand for all we know.
Right. Ruel's intentions are clear.
No, but I mean, why would...
If he's going to block, if he's going to chump out, I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah. But he's untapping lands now. Which is a big deal.
Oh, he can regenerate.
That is tremendous.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So he only had 1 island left, but Snap allows him to untap 2 lands. This is the engine that makes this deck go, right? And that 1 extra mana is enough for him to actually go off and cast a bunch of spells.
A Frogmite.
So Pierre Canali bashes Ravager into Massacre 5 or 6 turns in a row while Stehrone just paid the upkeep. Now Canali has a Frogmite, so things might get a little more complicated.
If you are Oiso, what do you want to draw here,
So,
Andy?
AK? He's got to cast multiple spells. Like he tried to go off last turn and fizzled, so now he's got a top deck and a way to go off again, right?
Honestly, Nightscape Familiar would not be that bad right now. He's in so much trouble.
But there's a Psychotog would be pretty good. I
Psychotog would not be bad.
Does he sideboard that in against Goblin?
I have no idea.
It's a pretty good man to block with.
I mean, his hand can't be very good, otherwise he wouldn't have stopped after that brainstorm last turn.
Really? Right, because he had the snap.
Yeah.
He had the snap, so he could get access to a little bit of mana. Interesting.
He's thinking hard. With the right draw, Ruel's just going to put him away next turn. He has to think through a lot.
Yeah, we know that Ruel has a War Chief in his hand.
And another War
and
Chief.
another War Chief.
Yeah.
And a Ringleader. Or no, what was the other card he got off the last Ringleader?
Ringleader, War Chief, I want to say. Prospector. Prospector's huge, actually. It was just because it's cheap and it triggers the Pile Driver.
Pile Driver's even blocked by Nightscape Familiar. That's not super relevant. But if he comes up with Mog Fanatic, if Familiar's out of the way, then he wins.
The card Ruel really wants, I think, is Mog Fanatic, but he only plays 3.
Can he get 5? He only has to get 5 damage around that Nightscape Familiar. He's got that in his hand that we know of. Yeah, Oiso has to go off, because Ruel could definitely bring for at least 7.
Excitement.
Cunning
Wish.
All right.
Oh,
that's
boy.
a lot of options.
How many cards are in Olivier Ruel's library? Because with the number of Sapphire Medallions and Nightscape Familiar,
Brain Freeze?
I think it's possible that Oiso's just going to kill him here.
So he gets
Stroke of Genius.
Does he not have a Wish out of the game yet? He would have gone Wish for Wish, 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 Wish
He could go Wish for Wish, Wish for Wish,
Wish for Brainstorm.
Turnabout. Turnabout's not bad. It depends what he's got.
Yeah, he has. It's probably the only relevant spell in his hand. Like, assume he's got nothing in his hand other than the Cunning Wish, which you have to assume now that he's got Stroke of Genius, right?
Yeah, so...
So if he doesn't have a Wish to wish for to get the engine started, then he can't do your play. He hasn't played one yet this game, right? Yeah, I mean, he has to get one wish removed from the game before that engine gets cranked up, right?
Hello?
All right, those frog mites for Pierre Canali were good enough. He beat Mastercore with his Infinity deck.
Wow.
One game apiece down there.
My pick for the champ is still in his match.
It's all about your picks. You're trying to play the Brian Kibler role this week.
No, if it were me playing the Brian Kibler role, it would be all about my influence on the decks in the top 8. Totally different type of commentary.
Fair enough. So Oiso decides to stroke for 4, leaving himself 3 islands untapped. Plus he's got the 2 medallions and the familiar, of course. Chrome box unimprinted, not really relevant to the game. So can he go off based on the 4 cards that he just drew off that stroke again?
Hunting, which is really exciting.
That's the question. Ruel knows it's possible. He's a little nervous. He must know he's played this game a little bit bizarrely, right? Imprinting the cranial extraction to go for the 4-turn beatdown plan. Will it work? He only needs to survive 1 more turn.
Ruel's plan was very exciting.
Brainstorm.
You can't take away how exciting his plan was.
Brainstorm means Oiso has gotten down. He's seen 7 cards.
Is he looking for Turnabout, Randy? That's got to be the card he's looking for.
He needs Turnabout plus, right? If he gets a Turnabout, then sure, he can cast everything else.
If he doesn't have Turnabout, I guess he can Snap for mana.
Yeah. Snap and Cloud Fairies give a lot of mana in this deck. Like, he doesn't... Turnabout is he's only got, like, 1, right?
Yeah, but I mean...
Snap and Cloud Fairies is plenty. He doesn't have to do that much. He just has to get back up to Mind's Desire mana, and then everything else is free off of Mind's Desire.
That's the 3rd spell played this turn, correct?
Yeah. So he just needs 1 Snap or 1 Cloud Fairies, and he can play a Mind's Desire. Snap and Cloud Fairies also count as spells for the Mind's Desire, obviously. So Turnabout helps sometimes, but it's certainly not essential to the combo.
This matchup is beautiful. Either player can win from any position, it looks like.
Ruel apparently cannot win from turn 4 extraction position, though.
As I said, you cannot fault how exciting his play was.
All right. I'll buy that. And Oiso did get the Cunning Wish in theory for the wish plan. I don't know, but it was off of Mind's Desire.
So when I asked the question, what does he want to draw, the answer is Cunning Wish, and that's what he drew.
You figured that out now?
Yeah, that's true. I watched him play.
Nice. Mike's hindsight is impeccable. Seriously, it is nice to have you in the booth, though. It's been kind of fun talking to you about the decks. Our normal color guy, Brian Kibler, is not in attendance this weekend. He's off playing the finals of a LARP that he's been playing in for 10 years.
Brian, a longtime friend, his AIM icon on AOL Instant Messenger is a tiger.
Yep.
And years ago I said, Brian, why do you have this stupid tiger as your AIM icon? And he said, tigers are great. And I learned only recently that for 10 years, Brian Kibler, Dragon Master, and popular Pro Tour player, has been pretending to be a tiger with a long flowing mane. And right now, he is in the woods somewhere, stroking his long flowing mane, if people dressed in chainmail probably are chasing him around with blunted axes.
Live action role playing, ladies and gentlemen. It's fun. It's fun. It's a good game.
I've never played live action role playing.
I haven't played much myself. I've done a fair amount of more traditional role playing.
As a youth, I played some traditional role playing, Dungeons and Dragons, but I'm a Magic guy now, Randy. I don't know about you.
Same.
So, at least
So he's like the star of the LARP.
is he?
I mean, they're chasing him. Is he the beast they're questing after or something?
Is that like when your babysitter is the star of the play? She plays the unicorn, and the play is entitled The Unicorn? Is that what it is? You go to see your babysitter, and she's the unicorn. You're like, my babysitter.
Boys so deep in thought, meanwhile. They haven't played anything while we digress about our friend Brian Kibler.
Watching Canali is really fun. John Becker just pointed out how happy he is to be here. He's got a huge smile on his face.
Hey, first Pro Tour ever. He's sitting in the top 8.
Cool.
Intuition from the Oiso.
Exciting magic here. What's he going for?
Yeah, that's my line. What's he going for, Mike?
Cloud of Fairies, Randy.
That's not bad.
Cloudifairies get some.
Oh,
Now
look at Olivier Ruel's face.
I should have played that cranial extraction.
Look, his is not a happy look.
Actually, you know what? I don't know if playing that cranial extraction would have gotten him out of this situation.
It wasn't my desire to dig for these cards.
It wasn't my desire to dig for cards that ended up not being that relevant.
The brainstorm dug out the... Yeah, he's been digging with brainstorms, and should have extracted brainstorm. We've never had any of these.
I don't think that extracting for brainstorm ever entered with your mind. That's like last night when we were talking about the West matchup. What do you name with Meddling Mage?
Yeah.
We're like, if you name Living Wish, it can get any combo part. But I think Task Force was the right, just because it has 3 toughness.
All right, so... Nice line from Becker down on the floor. And we're not sure what exactly Musashi Oisa is going to get, but whatever it is, I'm sure it'll be the right 3 cards. This guy can play the game.
Like I said, we haven't seen his hand, but every single spell that he has played this turn, it just seems more and more devastating. That Cunning Wish for Stroke was... Wow. And it seemed like he picked up just enough cards to really put Ruel to the heels.
Okay.
What's he going for?
All right. Cloud of Fairies.
Is that Snap?
Is that 3 clouds?
Cloud Snap it looks. Oh, no, Cloud Turnabout.
Cloud.
No way Ruel gives him the Turnabout.
He can't play it, right? He doesn't have the 2nd blue mana.
Is he playing a land?
Tricky. I think has he played a land? He has played a land. Yeah, I mean, if he has Chrome Mox,
sure.
He's clearly bluffing, clearly representing a Chrome Mox. He's saying, if you give me Turnabout, I'm going to play Chrome Mox and then Turnabout my lands. And he got Cloud of Fairies out of it, so all right, I need to know. Becker, see if you can get a look at his hand. Did he have the Chrome Mox or no?
A couple I got it in mind. Chrome Mox is awful for Ruel because it's another spell for Mind's Desire.
Right.
Or just for Brain Freeze, depending on what plan Oiso's on. And who knows how many Cloud of Fairies are still in Oiso's deck.
Right.
Those are the 2 things that we think.
Well, there's Cloud of Fairies into Snap.
Devastating play. Notice that Oiso has untapped 2 Underground Rivers.
Oh yeah, so we were
instead of going just for straight up islands like we might expect.
Oh my God,
that's a lot of spells. I've lost count.
So plays the Cloud of Fairies, snaps it, plays the Cloud of Fairies, and now Intuition again.
There's so many things he could go for now.
He's down to like 1 card in his hand, right? I think you got to call the Chrome Mox bluff, right? And, it almost can't be a Chrome Mox. If it was a Chrome Mox, it would have been forced to imprint Intuition anyway.
Oh, he had a Snap. He could have just, if he had the Chrome Mox, he could have played Chrome Mox, imprinted Snap, and cast Turnabout.
All right, wow. So it does not sound like that's a Chrome Mox. We just had our man on the floor look at it. That's not a Chrome Mox in Oiso's hand, which means
that he tricked.
If Ruel gets him Turnabout, the game's over. He just loses. He loses the game and the match.
He can snap his Nightscape. He had a Snap.
Oh, never mind. Sorry. That's not nearly as exciting. If he gets Turnabout, he just snaps Nightscape Familiar, and then he's got the mana for Turnabout. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, Ruel can't. I mean, I don't know if Ruel was thinking he had the Snap. John Becker just said, damn your observant eyes, Mike Flores. Notice how I can see the best plays in other people's games
after the fact.
Yeah. That's my
That's your mutant superhero power? I can sleep on airplanes. That's my mutant superhero power. I'm pretty happy with that.
I can sleep on hotel room floors.
Not bad. Not bad.
Let's Jonathan Becker has super bendy thumbs.
So what is
And Oiso can pick up Cunning Wish out of nowhere and take a game that looked like it was over and turn it into a nail biter for both sides. That's his mutant superpower. Oiso's got the Dave Price stare going on right now.
Junk Sickle says tigers don't have manes.
Now, I did not claim that tigers have manes. Brian Kibler's been telling everyone he is a tiger with a long flowing mane.
It's a role-playing game. It's a fantasy world, right? Tigers can have manes in that world.
They're talking tigers. Does Brian run around on all fours? We have no idea what goes on. Brian is known for summoning
here's the
dragons.
calculation.
All right, what's the
Merchant Scroll, and Mind's Desire.
Looks like Game 4 is going to be
It looks like we're going to Game 4. Olivier Ruel made a interesting decision to go for the beatdown plan in this few cranial extraction. Masashi Oiso top-decked a single Brainstorm, fizzled, top-decked a single Cunning Wish, and that was good enough.
And the question we asked earlier, when Oiso's back was to the wall, what does he want to draw? We were like, some guy to block? And the answer is Cunning Wish, and this Cunning Wish it's just been the first domino in a stack that buried Olivier Ruel. This is one turn that it said go. He just said go?
He said go.
What? He has no card draw? What's going on?
Well, can't he Merchant Scroll for Mind's Desire?
If he said go,
what just happened?
I have no idea what just happened.
He has enough mana to Merchant Scroll for Mind's Desire, right? Is he one mana short of that play?
The Merchant Scroll doesn't get sorceries.
Oh, just 6 instants. Sorry, Merchant Scroll only gets instants.
Damn,
So Ruel goes Prospector, War Chief, as we expected. And there's another Pile Driver. Merchant Scroll, so, wow. Yeah, Olivier Ruel. Game, set, and match. Masashi Oiso did his best. Quite an attempt to come back, but no. Olivier Ruel on the beatdown plan worked. Mind's Desire fizzled on the first chance he tried to go off, fizzled on the second chance he tried to go off, and Ruel finished him off with all those monsters that he ringleadered up.
I shudder to say it when we're talking about goblins with living death, but did the good guys win? Is that what happened this time? Is goblins really the good guys?
I really wanted to play him because
wow.
That was a fantastic match.
That was a good match. I mean, that was two of the Pro Tour's best, bashing each other. And you know what? You gotta like when the quirky play works out too.
It's really well. I think most of us agree that match was going to go to 5.
It was supposed to.
I picked Ruel, and Osa picked Oiso, I believe.
Almost everybody picked Oiso, I think.
So I'm 3-0 right now.
All right, Pierre Canali's got to be happy.
Come on, Pierre. It's like I said before. If Pierre doesn't win, though, my pick for the Pro Tour is done.
Yeah. We're pretty early in Game 3 here. Not a lot of damage has been done. Canali just went for a Ravager, but lost it to a Circular Logic. Now Stehrone is trying to apply some beats. Is that an Aquamoeba coming down? Merfolk Looter, sorry.
Our colleague Osip spoke to me earlier about this matchup. He says that it's actually pretty even. I thought that this match would heavily favor Ravager because of the relative speeds of the deck.
Okay.
They're both very similar game plans where they come out fast, they go for the throat. Ravager's a lot faster, but Sterone's deck's got resistance in cards like Circular Logic.
There's another Circular Logic.
And he brings in Oxidized. The reason I picked Canali is that Affinity has been bashing decks that have 4 Oxidized and 4 Viridian Shaman for the last year or so.
Right.
And Throne's got, let me just double check my list. I think he's got 3 Oxidized total for resistance cards. Obviously, the Massacre is a relevant card that he's brought in. Jonathan has just pointed out to us that it looked like Canali was going to come in with Frogmites against no cards in hand, and putting Stehrone in a position where he can't block with Wild Mongol. However, Wild Mongol's already been pumped by Circular Logic this turn, as Randy pointed out.
So 2 Ravagers ran into 2 Circular Logics. Canali looks like he's out of gas. It's just a couple frog mites and a worker. He does have Somber Hover Guard as well. One card left in his hand. His board is Nexus, City of Brass, and the Black Artifact land. He's got 2 frog mites, a worker, and a Somber Hover Guard. It's looking across at Basking Root Wallow, Wild Mongrel, Merfolk Looter, Island, Forest,
1 card in hand.
Yavimaya Coast. 1 card each. Canali draws, and we'll see.
This game is something interesting to talk about, which is that as powerful and explosive as the Affinity deck is, its best draws can be broken up with just 1 or 2 resistance spells.
Sure.
And you can see how different this game would be if one of those Ravagers had resolved.
Sure. Meanwhile, all Canali's got for this turn is activate Blinkmoth Nexus. Tap City of Brass for another Somber Hover Guard.
With no wonder on the other side. This seems to be over soon.
Jeffrey Stehrone needs a wonder. He's got Wild Mongrel in play, so it's pretty, and he's got Merfolk Looter, so obviously does not have the wonder yet. He's going to be digging for it with Looter. Takes 4, that'll drop him to 9. He's looking at 7 damage next turn.
I mean, that play was very brave on the part of Canali, because with Wild Mongrel in play, if Stehrone's got Wonder, he can devastate him.
But you know, he was empty-handed last turn. He played that logic with the last card in his entire hand, so he draw Loot. He had 2 cards. If he draws Wonder, it's not that brave to say, did you draw Wonder in the last 2 cards?
I think it's probably the right attack. I'm saying it's still a brave play. He can lose most of his board. That kind of a play.
He loses the Wonder, but he wins with no Wonder. This play gives him the win in 2 turns.
That Looter is going to be a lot of land. What kind of signal is that, Randy?
It's sort of
I've got
medium.
Well, he's definitely not got Arrogant Worm, right?
Right. It says he hasn't drawn a Madness. He hasn't drawn an Arrogant Worm or Root Walla. And he may or may not have a business spell. He's discarding a business spell when it's the scariest, right?
Well, the thing that I'm thinking about is, if you are Stehrone, do you make the typical play and discard a card like Wonder, or do you bait Canali into attacking into your Wonder bluff?
Do you want to bait?
I think you want to bait.
Save the Wonder, absolutely. Is this attack lethal? He's only got the 2 blockers.
6, 7 versus 13. No, it's not lethal.
Oh, he's doing 13?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So here's 7 in the air, threatening lethal next turn.
Oh, he's at 9.
I thought he was at 9. That's our scoreboard. But it's 8 points.
2 blockers. Is it lethal?
Well, if he attacks a Frogmite worker, then you can block the 2 Frogmites, take the worker. You go to 1.
From 17 life, I think it's foolish to go for a lethal, because his board could get devastated, and he could get he could really get bitten.
Yeah, way too many Madness spells that Stehrone could be setting him up for. Yeah, there we go. Stehrone's at 9.
The reason is because if he doesn't have Wonder, even if he does end up having Wonder the next turn, Canali just got him outnumbered. If he brings down Stehrone's life total, he could just have more guys to be able to get through regardless of Wonder, regardless of cards like Arrogant Worm or Basking as well.
Yeah, Canali has the 3 flyers in the red zone. He's got his fingers on the Frogmites. So attack with the Frogmites or no?
He's not going to attack.
I don't think he should. Players conversing in French.
Canali's way too happy right now.
Oh, that's the one.
There's the play. Okay.
Canali says, bravo.
We've got a match. What? Somber Hover Guard. Ruel is going to eat that Blinkmoth Nexus.
Yep. And Careful Study gets discarded, so the Mongrel beats up on the Hover Guard and lives up about it.
It looks like Stehrone's going to take 3.
Yeah, he takes
Canali's
3.
board is going in.
Wow.
Looks like he should have attacked with everything.
The Frenchman and the Belgian conversing in French. That's rapidly becoming the language of the Pro Tour. If you want tech these days, you need to learn French or Japanese. Those are the options. Just knowing how to speak English is not good enough.
Do you remember when you were on the best deck building team?
I remember. That was many, many years ago.
You had not only Eric Lauer, but Brian Schneider on that squad.
That was good times.
Pat Chapin floating around. That was a strong, strong deck building team.
It was good times.
I guess you see Brian Schneider every day now.
Mm-hmm. He sits 10 feet away from him. Yeah, he's a good man. He's now the lead developer for Magic, actually.
You mentioned that. Well, now that you're the Grand Poobah.
Yeah, I've been promoted to some Grand Poobah-like status, yes.
Now, as good as Stehrone's last turn was, he's not out of the woods.
No, I mean, it's affinity, right? It can explode. All of a sudden, here comes a Ravager. Or,
two cards you really want to... Oh, looks like podcast. That's a signal for podcast.
Sure.
Two cards you want to watch out for. Either Ravager or Cranioplating can end the game out of
Oh, there's Cranioplating.
Yeah, there it is. It's likely that Canali's just pass here, right?
And Canali can move it at instant speed,
Yeah, that's
so
a
next
huge
turn it's
issue.
lethal. Stehrone's got to come up with a fourth blocker.
He's got to have a blocker, or he's got to have his Oxidize.
And judging by that look, Stehrone doesn't have the answer in his hand right now.
I mean, doesn't Stehrone... Well, let's look. The board is not lethal, is it, if he does not block everything? What he probably... Is he thinking about tapping?
He's only got 5 articles?
Yeah, is he tapping the... He doesn't... There's no equipment right now. He's just casting.
No, next turn. Next turn.
No, I think... Is Stehrone not thinking about maybe tapping that looter and see if he can find a circular logic? I don't know if the board's lethal.
All right.
Now,
Hoverguard serves.
That's a strange
Why does
play.
the Hoverguard serve?
There's backing root Walla in play. That's an easy trade.
That's
Arrogant
a
Worm
trade.
to come down here. This could be devastating.
Apparently he's willing to trade it for
Island.
Looter.
I think he just wants to get an advantage on the board.
Yeah.
He could be sandbagging. If he has got another Frogman, he can just drop it. How many cards does he have in hand? Because if he sandbags the board, then the board's
No,
lethal
he's
next
just
turn.
content to trade.
Yeah,
Canali was just content to trade there.
if Stehrone draws a creature here, he's really...
But if he doesn't draw a creature, he just loses, right?
Well, no, he can have the Oxidize.
He needs an answer. Because cranial plating on any one of those creatures is lethal. All Canali has to do is untap, attack, and it forces Stehrone to
It
have...
looks like Stehrone just flashed us the circular logic. It looks like maybe he should have tapped the looter.
Well, he had a draw face instead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would have looted. You do loot its response there,
It's
though.
not lethal. Well, the thing is that
Losing the 1/1 doesn't make
the
it.
question is, how scared are you of a random Disciple kill?
Yeah.
Because that's the reach that Canali's deck's got. Canali's got to beat you in the red zone for the most part.
Mhm.
Stehrone's got to beat you in the red zone totally, which is a different issue. But it's not.
The plating. You're obligated to draw an answer immediately. You have to loot for.
I mean, the right play here is, Canali's going to just attack with everything. Whatever doesn't get blocked is going to get equipped at instant speed.
Makes sense to me, and there he goes.
If there's no Oxidize or...
2 Frog Mites and a Knockdown Worker head into the red zone. Stehrone, any one of them is lethal with the plating. Stehrone looks bad. Is he trying to... Oh, he knocks.
He's going to tap at instant. He's going to tap with the looter to try to find the Oxidize.
Yeah, but none of the Root Wall and Arrogant Worm are no longer good enough.
Well, let's think about it. If he gets the Oxidize, then he gets a lot of tempo back, but he's going to be much lower level.
Well, he has to make this play. He has no choices because he has to block with the looter. He can't loot before the attack phase because he's still short of blocker.
Exactly.
There's plating, so here comes loot for Oxidize. Knock?
In response, so that has not happened yet.
I don't think it matters. But Oxidize or no?
Talking in French. Is that Yavamaikos that went to the graveyard?
No.
Fingering some mana. He's not slow rolling here, right? You keep talking, you just shuffle up for the next game.
I would have scooped by now if I didn't have an answer.
You also told me that if you're going into the top 8 of a Pro Tour, you don't practice the night before.
I did not practice before the Pro Tour that I won, that's true.
And these guys were all, even West, who said he wasn't going to, he said he was going to sleep.
There it is. Stehrone scoops him up. So Pierre Canali takes a 2-1 lead, trying to get his affinity deck through to the semifinals, where he would love to take on Olivier Ruel.
That Ruel versus Canali match is going to be a shootout. Fun to call.
So Stehrone took the first game, but Canali has taken games 2 and 3.
Who do you think is favored in sideboarded games? Let's look at these lists.
Affinity versus Madness?
Yeah, Oxidize comes in for Madness, and Canali's got what?
2-1.
Yeah, you were talking about playtesting for the Pro Tour. When I made my Pro Tour top 8, they did not give the deck list out ahead of time. So I knew my deck. I'd been practicing it for months. I felt like I understood it. So, no, I thought getting a good night's sleep. I went out with my friends, got a good meal, got a good night's sleep so that I'd be fresh in the morning. I know how to play my deck. I've heard what my opponents are playing sort of in broad strokes, and doesn't, playtesting against basic archetypes doesn't help that much. If I had a card-for-card deck list, I think I might have been different. I might have taken the time
top
to
8 matchup, Max Suber?
No, for the quarterfinals was the Austin Knights guy, the other Necro guy.
That matchup
Adrian Sayers.
Sayers has no chance.
I thought my deck was clearly better. I just had more Necros. He only had, I think, 3 Necros and 2 Consults or something.
He had Wildfire Emissary. How's he going to win?
No, he had blue. He had blue instead of red, which was the weird part.
Sayers had Wildfire Emissary.
Oh, he was red, black, blue. Yeah. He didn't have the white.
I don't even know how to play those cards.
His deck clearly, it looked too slow. I felt my build was just better. It's like, I don't want to play test this matchup. I understand the matchup, and I think I've got the better deck. I'm just going to get a good night's sleep.
You play Max Suber in that top 8?
Yeah, I played Suber in the semifinals.
That matchup is a disaster for you, though, right?
Why?
He has Winter Orb and Water
chance. Hey, what you mean the Djinn?
I'm sorry, Water
I had
Djinn.
Terror, Pyroblast, and Disenchant.
I'm not saying...
Do you have any idea how good Pyroblast is against him?
Do you have any idea how good Winter Orb is against you?
I had Disenchant. That's why I had 4 consults and 3 Disenchant.
So again, it comes to the 4 consults.
4 consults? Yes, that matchup was easy. Every card, I could just react. I could necro up a bunch of answers to everything. I thought that matchup was really easy.
So we went back to you're having the best deck in the top 10 again.
I was pretty happy with the deck. But yeah, these guys, now they get exact card-for-card deck lists. So what a lot of people do is overnight, either they or their friends will proxy up a copy of their opponent's deck, especially the quarterfinal opponent, and test against exactly the card-for-card version they're going to face. So it's kind of interesting. And we were talking to Nicholas West. He's never been to the Pro Tour before, and we're asking him yesterday, so you going to play tonight? He's like, what do you mean? Like, well, you get the deck list. Lots of people play test. And he did play test, right? He's got a couple of friends from England. Were you telling me about this?
No, who was it? I think it was Brian who said that to us earlier.
Yeah, so a couple of friends in town, they proxied up the deck, they played it, and 3-0 against Arita. They figured out what the meddling name's for, figured out how the game plays out. And
it's pretty funny how these night before things happen. I remember in Nationals 2000 when John had made top 8, we had to play test against your old teammates. Aaron Forsythe, that was John's quarterfinal matchup.
Right.
And you know who helped us test was your other teammate. Actually, I guess he's a Generation 2 CMU player, which was Andy J. came. He was like, here's an exact copy of Aaron's deck to test. And Tom Gwevin tested the other side of the matchup for John. And John played against it. And Tom Gwevin, a remarkably insightful playtest partner.
Really?
He pointed out things I honestly would say, just testing with John, we still would never have seen. He said things like, the game is on the board. We thought we were going to do stuff like persecute and duress Aaron out of the game. And, literally, I was talking to Mike about it yesterday. Mike made that same top 8. He said, Angry Hermit was just played with no cards in hand, untapped, grabbed some giant off the top and put it into play. That's exactly what happened in John's matchup with Aaron. Aaron was busting out Ancient Hydra from every conceivable position. It was one of the most exciting matches I've ever seen, I think.
So here we're looking at Nakamura versus West in the semifinals. Who do you like there?
I like West.
You like West through to the finals? I think I agree. Blue White control against Red Deck wins?
Well, there's some things to keep in mind. West has got Exalted Angel. If that starts connecting with Nakamura's jaw, there's no coming back. Right. I mean, it's almost worse than getting hit with a Chroma, and the reason is because it hits not as hard, but, Nakamura's got, what's the card advantage of Firebolt versus just getting hit with Exalted Angel?
Meanwhile, what are Olivier Ruel's chances against either Pierre Canali or Jeffrey Stehrone?
If Canali is the winner, I think that he blows Ruel out. We've seen this matchup for the last year, and to be frank, the affinity decks in Standard are worse probably than Canali's deck, and the Goblin decks are better than Ruel's deck. Not that Ruel's deck is worse than the Standard Goblin deck,
but in the matchup,
it's just that Standard Goblin decks don't waste time on cards like Burning Wish, and Canali can just come out and demolish Ruel.
All right, what if Stehrone pulls off the comeback?
I like Ruel a lot if Stehrone wins, and the reason is because, what is Stehrone going to do about cards like Sparksmith? It's Sparksmith versus Blue-Green. Make an Arrogant Worm, kill it, swing with everything. Make an Aquamoeba, kill it, swing with everything. That's going to be almost a worse blowout. Ruel will win the games on 2 life, but it doesn't matter.
So Olivier Ruel fans should be cheering against fellow Frenchman Pierre Canali.
That's correct. The reason that I picked Canali to win the Pro Tour is because I thought that Ruel was going to win in the quarters. I think that he has a much better matchup against Ruel than he does against Oiso. But I picked Ruel to win the quarters, and I've been watching Canali play all weekend. It doesn't matter what plays this kid makes. It does not matter. His deck just comes. Energy Flux was in play more often than not when I walked by Pierre Canali's table, and he would just, I'll kill you. And
yeah, I watched multiple games where he would be facing Energy Flux. He'd just get out one Ravager and like a Blink Moth Nexus. And he'd be like, play an Artifact land, I'll keep the Ravager, feed it to the Ravager, attack you. Next turn, play an Artifact land, I'll keep the Ravager, feed it, and then eventually he just activates the Blink Moth Nexus, moves all the counters on the Blink Moth Nexus, and he just went through Energy Flux.
I watched Canali play, I think it was against Oiso. I'm not entirely sure. He was playing against Mind Cesare. And Vampire Tutor resolves, and I'm thinking to myself, clearly he's going for Energy Flux here.
Right.
Canali didn't care. He just sacked all his lands to the Ravager and swung in. And I mean, Energy Flux came on the next turn, and Canali won 2 turns later. And I was like, how does this kid play? And it's
I don't know if kid is there. He's 22. So Pierre Canali, 22 years old. He's from Aix-en-Provence in France. He's a salsa teacher, professional salsa teacher.
Joseph's going to like that.
Yeah. First Pro Tour ever. He won a PTQ in Toulouse. Has made day 2 of Grand Prix before, and he was the lone 8-0 on day 1. Ran the table on day 1, 8-0, and that was enough so that 5-3 brought him home on day 2. Brought him to the number 1 seed, in fact. He only needed, he got 13 wins. He needed 12 to make top 8. He's playing Modular because he thinks there is not a lot of sideboarding cards against Modular.
And he's right.
Yeah, everybody thinks it's a bad deck, but Meddling Mage made all the difference. He felt that putting the Meddling Mages in the deck is what put him over the top. Gave him all kinds of weapons against all kinds of decks that none of the other Affinity decks had, and that's why this is the Affinity deck that we saw do well.
2 things about this. I mean, I don't mean to any disrespect by saying, kids, this, what we've been talking about all weekend, these players are so much younger than we are.
No, that's a real changing of the guard.
Yeah, and
I think this is the Pro Tour changing of the guard, absolutely.
And he is much younger than we are. The other thing is that...
And you know why the guard is changing is because these are the guys that are preparing. Right? If there's one thing this Pro Tour has shown me, it's that in Constructed in particular, preparation gets rewarded. The people who are playing in the top 8 are the ones who played a bunch of Magic and figured out the matchups. And you're like, what decks were you expecting? Pierre Canali says Rock Reanimator and combo. He nailed the metagame. He built the deck to beat it. He found a tweak. And
can you imagine
how they
calling Rock as the top deck and then deciding to play Affinity? Either he's brave or he's just incredibly well prepared. I mean, everyone thinks that Pernicious Seed wins, and he knows that it doesn't. It's one of those things.
All right, well, we're looking in on Game 4 now. There's a first turn Ether Vial from Pierre Canali.
That's about the best play that his deck can make with Darksteel Citadel. He's protected even from Oxidize through his mana base.
Stehrone on the other side imprinted a Chrome Box with Circular Logic on turn 1 so that he can make an Aquamoeba. And, yep, there's Wonder. So cracks for 3 on turn 2, and like 4 doesn't actually fly yet because he doesn't have an island.
John told us that Stehrone had mulligan.
Yeah.
And in addition, the Chrome Box is putting him even further behind.
Mulligan plus a Chrome Box plus the discarded Wonder. Wow. He's got like 2 cards left in his hand or something?
That's...
And Canali got his best possible turn 1, so... We shall see. Another Ether Vial. Is the second one add that much?
There's only one of 2 things can happen, which is he drew too many Ether Vials and he has a threat low hand, or he comes completely out of the gates and overwhelms Stehrone.
There's Frogmite for free.
And Somber Hoverguard. Wow. It sounds like the latter is going to be what happens. I mean, expect something like a Worker or Disciple of the Vault to come down end of turn, and if it doesn't, it means he's holding something like Arcbound Ravager in his hand.
Do you think both players realize that Wonder is not active? I always wonder about that. Like it's like
got him now.
It's like circular. Yeah, so I'm sure Stehrone knows he doesn't have an island, but it's like the circular logic play when you don't have enough cards in your graveyard and you just logic something, and they're like, "Well, it's logic." Of course, I am. Nobody pays for circular logic ever. It's interesting.
BDM missed top 8 of a PPQ once.
Yeah.
Where he got logic. His opponent screwed up, and BDM could have kept his Werebears.
Right. And, nobody ever pays for circular logic. It's the same kind of thing.
Because who taps Urnamjin? Right?
And Wonder gives flying, right?
The signal here is, I think, Arrogant Worm. He's saying, I have Arrogant Worm. Do your worst. I think that's what he's saying.
We'll see.
Well, Yep.
Vial.
Cycle revolt.
There's a worker.
How many cards does Canali have left on? As I said, this could be absolutely explosive.
Yeah, this certainly looks like a match.
The best draw here for Canali is to play land followed by cranial plating, I think, because with the number of creatures he's got in play, including a modular creature and a flyer, and with that circular logic out of the game, Canali is way ahead.
Yeah, it may look familiar to those of you who've been playing Standard lately.
This is one of those boards that you're biting your nails no matter what you're holding.
And every card on that board is legal in Standard right now. Every card on the left side of the board, anyway.
The thing that I love about Canali's deck is when you watch him play, it's like he could be playing dump truck. He's got these hands that are Meddling Mage, Engineered Blade, nothing but colored cards. It's crazy. Yeah. Becker just pointed out that he only draws what looks like a standard Affinity deck or what looks like an extended dump truck deck. He doesn't ever draw a mix of cards so as to confuse his opponent from round to round. Perfect.
All right, here comes the attack.
Well, if an all-in attack like this, I think that he is signaling Archon Ravager. I mean, a bad block here followed by Archon Ravager could be...
Are there good blocks here for Jeffrey Stehrone? He's got an Aquamoeba. His opponent's got Worker, Frogmite, Hoverguard, Vial against an Aquamoeba. Off a mulligan where you also imprinted a spell on Chromos.
To be fair...
Things do not look good for the Belgians.
How about Aquamoeba blocking Archon Ravager and a yet unseen... Arrogant Worm, or
there's Disciple,
or Bastion-Walla blocking Frogmite. That's perfectly fine. But
there's nothing.
It's not as devastating as we thought might happen, and it is fine. Canali's not even losing any power.
Aquamoeba munches the Worker. Stehrone takes.
Yeah.
Stehrone declines to switch the Aquamoeba.
The important thing to keep in mind here is that if Stehrone goes for an end-of-turn trick, he's losing that Aquamoeba.
Sure.
So, I mean, that's something to keep in mind. Like, he can't go for a trick anywhere.
He's got I don't know that he's got anything. His hand's sitting down. He's looking, he's still in the game, but he took 6, and all he's got is a 1-3.
If Stehrone had Archon Ravager, you have to believe that it would have hit play during that combat.
Canali says go. And there's Intuition.
Intuition.
What does that get?
Roars, I think. Does he have Roars?
Yeah. I mean, he's got Roar of the Worm. He's also, I mean, deep analysis.
Actually, Wonder is actually necessary because he's fighting against flying right now.
Well, he doesn't have an island. But, yeah.
He has to set up. I mean, he can't play for not ever drawing an island.
Sure.
I mean, a combination of Roars and Wonder, I think, is not bad because he could just play a Roar if he draws a land, hopefully an island, and then pitch a Wonder if that's what Canali chooses to put into his hand, and then he's got a dominant...
He's already got the Wonder. Wonder's in the yard.
Damn your observant eyes, Randy Mueller.
So you get Roars here.
Yeah, right.
And just hope to top deck the land number 4 and start making 6/6 monsters.
Well, it looks like he's only got 2 Roars, so it's Roar. Jonathan says he thinks he's going to go for deep analysis to make up for the card advantage of the Mox and the Mulligan. So he does have access to blue.
He doesn't have time to draw cards.
Well, the 3 life is going to hurt him.
He doesn't have the time or the life for that plan.
What's it look
like? The mixture. There's
he went for Chrome Mox,
deep analysis, Roar of the Worm. So he's got all 3 plans. I think I'd have an island there instead of a Chrome Mox, but he went for Chrome Mox, deep analysis, and Roar of the Worm. You give him the Roar, right?
Reason to go for Chrome Mox instead of island?
I have no idea. If he wants to draw island, he's afraid he's going to get it.
Canali just doesn't give him island, I guess.
Yeah.
Jonathan points out he wants to draw land.
You give him giving him the Roar rather than giving him the Chrome. Yeah. So he's basically thin the Chrome Mox out of his library.
And again, if Stehrone makes a a mental lapse and just dumps the Roar of the Momentum turn, which would be
It would kill you.
terrible for Aqua
There's no reason to do it.
There's no reason to do it. It's,
So, Stehrone untaps.
and it's deep analysis.
3 life for a couple of cards.
As Jonathan predicted. Now this is going to put Canali down, only down to 14 it looks like, so it's not that bad. Oh, I'm sorry, 11, the life total.
Yeah, the life total's on the board are wrong. CGR on the board says you're cheating, you came back in time and told yourself who was going to win. That's why you're 3-0 so far. Who said that? CGR.
CGR, I'm sorry you have no faith in my predictions. Looks like I'm going 4-0. The rest of the staff all picked Slice.
Yeah, a lot of people, most people had Slifer. A lot of people had Oiso. Wes was a pretty popular pick.
Oiso as the champion.
Sure. I had Oiso versus Wes in the finals.
Becker also picked Oiso West, and Becker picked Oiso as the champion. So the staff is batting poorly. Do you think that Nakamura tested the West matchup, or do you think he's frantically testing the West matchup right now? Or do you think both?
He probably.
And there was no land.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Stehrone did the deep analysis, could not come up with a land, so definitely in dire straits here.
What does Stehrone want here?
Rootwalla? Yeah, how about balance?
I mean, Rootwalla does what? I mean, he's almost got to pitch and block the Frogmite, but if Canali's got anything to pump with those Aether Vials, I'm not sure. This is just a very bad position for some.
Yeah, Stehrone just not getting that land is awful. He has to top deck a land next turn to have any real chance.
You're thinking he doesn't block here?
Either way, I mean, he's going to have to discard the Roar anyway, so he may as well use it to flip an Aquamoeba. I think you try to trade for, you trade Aquamoeba for Frogmite, get your Roar into the graveyard, then you have to top deck a land, basically an island, really.
What is Canali signaling by attacking with the Disciple?
He says, I think I'm winning, and you have no good block.
I don't care if you take out my most potent...
Oh, Disciple's a little odd. That's what is Disciple in the red
zone? He forces 6 damage in. So that'll put him to 5. If there's no islands the next turn, then he could be just playing for a kill with the Somber Hoverguard. We have no idea what's in his hand.
Right. So if Aquamoeba, it's actually an interesting decision for Jeffrey Stehrone.
Oh, okay. Jonathan points out if there's a Ravager, then he goes lethal right here.
Yeah, so Canali offered up the Disciple. Aquamoeba was given the choice to pick off Disciple the Vault. Stehrone did not do it. He's going to trade Aquamoeba for Frogmite instead. That's also the only artifact creature, so it also closes off any potential Ravager tricks. I think Canali will be down to a pair of colored creatures.
I think Roar Worm's not good enough here. If Canali's got
Island Roar seems good enough.
He's staring down the best 2-man team in all of Magic.
Oh, there is the Ravager. There it is. Arcbound Ravager.
You think he's just going to save the Frogmite? What's going on?
Yeah, why do you even play it there?
Oh, he's going to eat the Frogmite after damage stack.
Oh, sure.
And then there's going to be an additional point of damage dealt. Oh, no, it's going to go either way with the Disciple of All.
So, Stehrone's going to take 4 down to 7. Do you have enough artifacts to just win with Disciple?
No.
Close.
Depends what's on the other
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7. He's got it.
Is that lethal?
I think it's lethal. He has to stack everything, including the Ravager, but there's no G-speed tricks that I can think of. Yeah, he takes 4 down to 7. He takes 1 from eating the frogmite. So I think this is it. This is exactly enough damage.
Take 1.
Wow, a beautifully played attack by Pierre Canali.
Yeah, sending in the Disciple. He had to get that 1 point in to be lethal.
Absolutely.
1 point of Disciple damage. Awesome play.
And that's the match.
Pierre Canali, ladies and gentlemen. 3 games to 1. Pierre Canali is through to the semifinals.
4-0 on picks, Randy Bueller.
It'll be